favor. This is one more, please. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Otra, por favor. I think the recent episodes we've done have been in English. In a lot in Spanish. And today we're gonna do it in English. But it's a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful Sunday. There's a lot of raining out in Austin. But today's one of the episodes that I'm really looking forward to doing this year. Mainly because the people that I have here with me, they're amazing. They're creating some pretty cool things. In the studio we have Hector Gonzales and Giselle de la Rosa.
What's up?
How are you guys today?
Excellent.
Really good.
It
is
was
a beautiful day.
Yeah. Yesterday too, we got the rain we needed.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone's okay.
Yeah. It's one of those that have not seen that amount of rain in a while.
Yeah.
It's been maybe 2013. That's how much it rained, but this year it's been like crazy.
Yeah. It's one of those things where my parents will text me and say, "Oh my God, are you okay? All of the storms, the news." And I'm like, careful with that news.
Yeah.
I'm like, but we're good.
It's frustrating because it's a lot of rain, and in the moment you're like, God, stop already. I want to go out or whatever. But you're like, yeah, we need it, right?
Yeah.
But we got it, and now it's been like 2 beautiful days in a row. So, yeah. Good day for a soccer game, too.
Yeah, I hope everybody's doing something very fun right now, enjoying the gorgeousness out there.
What do you guys usually do on a Sunday when it's a beautiful weather like this?
I like to be outside. I get my days confused. I have like a very sporadic schedule, so I barely know what day it is. But my goal is to always have fun and to be outside when possible. So, maybe a walk around Town Lake. Barton Springs, probably not on a Sunday. I like to do that in the mornings, like in the middle of the week. Definitely chilling. I don't know. I woke up early and was working on the computer for a few hours, but I had the door open and I was facing plants, so that was
beautiful.
Good.
Nice.
Anyway, let's move on.
I on a Sunday afternoon, I almost every Sunday I teach stunt class for actors around town.
Okay.
And so it's at 2:00. I do martial arts, obviously, and it's for all my friends that we started this group like 10, 12, 13 years ago, and a lot of them have gone on to be SAG. I'm not by my own choice, but we have the class for people around town to come in and train and work and meet other people and network, which is a huge thing for stunt people in Austin and then actors. And then a lot of times that we have people coming, like I have people coming today that are going to be doing a project that they're working on. I think there are some actors that have come into town, so I get to work on those things, and then it's been a lot of fun.
I'm SAG-AFTRA. Can I come?
Yeah, of course. It's for everybody. But we do stunts. You got to do fighting. And
I've done a couple of those classes. Would you ever come to a class?
What SAG is that?
So it's Screen Actors Guild, which is the union for actors.
Okay.
For film and television, and then it's many years back. It like our sister, I guess you could say sister union, AFTRA. Which is, I should know this, American Federation of Television.
I've never known what AFTRA is. I know what SAG is.
Television and radio artists.
Yeah.
So it's all one big happy family. Yeah. So now SAG-AFTRA. So union actors, typically, Texas is a right to work state.
Yes.
I came from a union state, California, so I came here with that. But yeah, just a union. Specified actors that are protected by a union.
Oh, nice.
But every big like production out of like Hollywood or whatever, like anything is, you have to be in that union to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
Except for in Texas,
which is right to work. Yeah.
So I'm actually working on a SAG-AFTRA commercial this week, and there are people on. Yeah. So when I was in California, it was first they book for the union jobs. They book union actors. Yeah. And then if there's any spaces left over, they'll invite non-union actors. And then for Texas, if it's a union gig, anybody's welcome to audition and get booked and all of that stuff. So
that's so there's I was gonna say, thinking of that, right? How there's a lot, like say, and it's a good thing, like in unions, because then you protect the rights of the workers. But I didn't know about a lot of the stuff like that. And I feel like today will be a great episode to learn more about that, to understand about that. But yeah, so First is we got to meet last year. You guys invited us to be part of Cine Las Americas panelists, and then also during the red carpet. So for me, I'm always grateful for that opportunity. Thank you guys.
You're still in a lot of the. There's a video of last year or something, and you're in that, and it pops up all the time. Or maybe it was at the red carpet thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just fam now.
There you go. Yeah.
So you're always welcome.
Oh yeah, that's the goal would be for me. I don't like to just do like a one-off and that's it. Like no, we're in Austin and it's May. It's
clear the calendar.
Clear the
You're
calendar
gonna
for
be
Cine
there
Las
every
Americas.
day,
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah, and it's part of because I want to. So Otra is created to amplify stories that are here in Austin, surrounding Austin as well, and Mexico City because I'm from there and I live there.
I love Mexico City.
And me too.
I love Mexico.
And then me too. Let's go.
I love Mexicans.
I was gonna say, so like this space was actually created for highlighting what's going on, especially when it comes to events like Cine Las Americas film and now conference, second year in a row. So we're gonna talk about that. But before we want to talk about you guys, I was telling Hector earlier that this episode is about Giselle and Hector. The spotlight, everything's on you, throwing you flowers, because I think there a lot of the times is we have all these events that are going on, but then there's a lot of people that are working behind the scenes, and you guys are part of that. So first of all, I want to ask you, where are you originally from, and how did your childhood shape the person you are today? And we can start with Giselle.
Cool. I grew up in Placentia, California, which is a small town connected to lots of small towns. So I felt like I was a city girl. Not too far from Disneyland, if you've ever been. I grew up in an immigrant household. My parents are from Colombia. And I'll tell you what, that entire experience has shaped my whole life. I'm the youngest of three, so very spoiled. And my family, my dad is an oil painter and my brothers are musicians. So I chose dancing, or maybe my parents chose that for me because I was probably 3 when they put me in a dance class around the corner that their friend was managing. So the arts has always been an important part of my upbringing through music. My brother Andrew is a rock musician, guitarist, and my brother Brian was a classical pianist. So the best of both worlds. Nice. And then my father's an oil painter, as mentioned before. My mom just did her best to make sure we were in line. Strict household, very strict household. Very, very religious as well. And so I did my best to rebel in any way possible. Some forms, I really wish I would have stuck with it, like learning to play piano and singing lessons would have been amazing. I could use that now that I'm an actor and performer. I do my best, but to have that training would have been great. My mom used to pay my brother and I for me to take lessons, but I was such a brat that I was like, no, I'm not taking lessons. And, some of the challenges where I wanted to be white. I wanted to not speak Spanish, and I wanted to have the same lunches as my friends, and I wanted to have the same no curfews, and my parents didn't let me do a whole bunch of shit. My friends were always able to do stuff, and so I was really wanting to be part of that. And then, there was some cultura in Orange County and Placentia specifically. And, I went through this phase of not speaking Spanish. And I was in an acting class in New York 10 years ago, and we were working on some very basic, working on probably accents. And, it's all where you place your tongue and where you hit the articulators in the different areas of your mouth. And I was having a hard time with some English words or noticing that my tongue didn't hit where everybody else's tongue was hitting. And my teacher was like, is English your first language or is it your second language? And I was like, I never thought about that, but I think Spanish was my first language. Yeah. It must have been. So there was like a coming back to like wanting to learn more about my culture, wanting to spend more time in Colombia, because I went a lot as a child and I didn't for a handful of years. I have a family of my own, and my daughter's dad didn't want her traveling there for a really long time. And so she's at the age where she can make her own decisions now. And so now we go. And I'm like definitely having a calling of wanting to live in the jungle and be in Colombia. I'm very much wanting to make my way back over there. So I feel like probably not until like my 30s was I ever considering like wanting to kind of return to self and return to family, and really being so grateful for all of the things that my parents have done for me. You know, we have our trauma, we have some shit that went down in our family, but we, you know, my parents really did the best that they could, and they came here for the American dream, and I would say they succeeded. You know, they raised 3 adult children. They've always supported us. You know, they have a house that, you know, they've had multiple different homes. They're still in the home that I grew up in, and, you know, they like to expand on their homes, home expansions, and like they did it, I think. They were 20 when they moved here, and my mom brought her 5 younger siblings, and there was trauma in her family, and you know, we're all informed by that, and essentially we're all survivors of survivors. And so it's nice to come back and instead of being so petty and such a brat and complain about things that like didn't happen, is to be grateful for the things that did, and really kind of dive into that a little bit more and expand on that, and you know, come from a place of gratefulness, which is where I am these days, which is really, really cool.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to ask you, you how long were you in Plasencia? Because I went to school in Kramer Middle School.
I went to Kramer Middle School. Kramer Cubs.
Yeah.
Dude, what
So
year?
wild. That is like
What
California,
year were you
right? Like,
in Kramer?
I was there
Kramer.
there we go.
was,
1997 and 1998.
So I was at Kramer. I was on the dance team.
Okay.
And then I went to Mater Dei for a couple of years. It was a Catholic private school in Santa Ana. And my parents were like, this is where you're going. You don't have any choices. And I was like, well, how much trouble can I get into here? And I got into a tiny bit of trouble, but my friends, they were good at getting into trouble. But they were also very smart. So I was inspired by that. And then I actually went to I was getting into trouble with admin for like really lame reasons of like I couldn't wear a certain color, or I dyed my hair black, and they were so. You know, they paid money for me to be in there, and then eventually they're like, maybe this isn't the best fit. And I had been telling them for some time. So anyway, and that was like 30 minutes away, traffic. We don't need that. Then I went to El Dorado for like maybe a month or two.
Okay.
And then I ended up going to Valencia the middle of my junior year, which is the high school, like the
right next to
goes
it.
into Valencia. Yeah. And that's where my brothers went to school.
Okay.
They graduated, and my nieces were also there. So, yeah, I think I was probably at Mater Dei when you were at Kramer.
Okay.
Because I graduated in the year 2000. In the year 2000. What about you?
Did you go to Kramer as well?
No, but you know what? I'm noticing a lot of similarities. It's almost like kind of funny that we ended up on this team together, because I'm noticing a lot of similarities. Originally, I'm from San Antonio, down an hour and a half away. My whole family, you know, like my whole extended family, or my immediate family, I'm the only one not born in Uvalde, but my whole family's from Uvalde. And you know, that's obviously notorious for its own reasons at this point in time. But when I was a kid, going over there every like summer, every weekend was a lot of fun, and it was a different thing. And so my whole family's there. My grandparents are all first generation, and I think after that they came from Mexico. And I grew up in San Antonio. I went to a Catholic high school called Holy Cross that at the time was all boys. Now it's co-ed.
You're like,
I know. It was crazy because it was like, it was wild. Like, you didn't have to worry about girls, right? So you're just a bunch of stupid dudes just hanging out and growing up and
praying the rosary every day.
yeah, exactly, doing that. But no, that was a Catholic upbringing, and I was the same way. Where I was like, I wasn't a bad kid. I was a very like behaved really well kid.
Bad kid. I want to talk about that on another podcast because it's not a bad kid; it's bad decisions.
Bad decisions, but I didn't make a lot of them, and you know. So, but no, I grew up there, and I found my way into film, really because I had always loved film, and I just wanted to do that, and there wasn't any option for that, and so. I had a teacher who was really instrumental, and he came to me. I still see him every once in a while, but he came to me and he was like, "Hey, you know, he was in charge of like the UIL stuff, right?" And he was like, "Hey, there's this competition at one of the things. It's for a movie." And he goes, "You always talk about movies. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "Okay." And that was 2001, 2002. So 9/11 happened in September when we were just starting our senior year, and so I was like, you know. That's something I can talk about. And I think the movie that I ended up making was like about the nervousness that everybody who was a senior was going through about like, are we going to have to go fight a war, blah, 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 and just being unsure. And all of our parents paid for us to be there as well, right? So it's like, you know, what if I went off and died and my parents spent like $40,000 that don't have to like educate, right? So it was like a really little short film, and I made that, and it was a big hit. It won a lot of stuff, and it's what propelled me to go to UT, and that's what brought me here about 2002, so 24 years ago to Austin. When I went to film school, and I've been in film ever since, and I've worked all over the place and all kinds of jobs. And currently, I produce and I do stunts now and fight choreography really because I have a lot of martial arts training, so that's what I do.
Yeah. You guys, so
cool.
What was the most recent stunt work you've done that people will be like, oh, wow?
Well, I mean, it's about a year or two ago, but there was a very popular thing at Rooster Teeth where I used to work, a company called Rooster Teeth that was really famous for a show called Red vs. Blue. And it was actually predated like YouTube, and it's what got the company noticed. And Red vs. Blue was basically, you know, the video game Halo. Like the original founders figured out a way to make an animated comedy in the game. Because there was a glitch where if you pointed the gun down, because it's a first-person thing, the camera would stay looking. So, like, normally when you're first-person shooter, right, it does like this, and you follow. In the game, there was a glitch where if you put the gun down, the camera stayed still. So what they ended up doing was, like, if you two were talking, I would run over and put the gun down and look at you. And that would be a camera way of, like, I would be a camera, basically, for y'all to run into it, right? Cool. Nice. And it became a massive, massive hit. Rooster Teeth was around for 21 years. We ended up being, the last owner we had was Warner Brothers. So I was able to be in a lot of really cool things for Warner Brothers. But they kind of wrapped up that whole run with a movie, Red vs. Blue movie for their last season. And I did all the motion capture for the stunts and fights. So that was about 2 years ago. I mean, I've done a lot of other things since, but you can go to iTunes or Amazon and find this, and it's me in the thing. And there's a couple of scenes where I'm like fighting myself because it was like, oh, take this hit and whatever, do the spin kick or whatever. Yeah. So that's something that you can see easily.
Nice. I used to deliver. We were talking about it earlier. I used to deliver Chinese food at Rooster Teeth. And one day, I remember it was on a Saturday. They gave us instructions how to get in there, and the code the keypad didn't work.
That red building?
Yeah, so someone let me in, and then, okay, how am I going to get out? Because the keypad to get out didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I just opened the door and, like, walked out, and I see somebody from Rooster Teeth. Hey, man, what the hell? And I'm like, dude, bye.
Yeah.
Well, you got your food, right?
I was going to say, did you take the food?
No, I left it there. That was, like, for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to deliver it, take a picture, and text it to whoever ordered, and I'm good.
Yeah.
And then someone comes out, like, what the hell? And I'm like,
not everybody
enjoy your food.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's where I feel like, you know, that's one of the probably I didn't take it personal. I was just more like, hey, he's probably protecting like assets that are in there because I mean, I work in a place where there's assets, so you have to take care of it. So I understood. So I'm like, yeah, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So when did you guys? We came from San Antonio to Austin, but when did you come to Austin, Giselle?
I came just a week after South by 2007.
Okay.
Oh,
So
nice.
I had my baby 1 year before, and we were looking at things to do differently. So I am the youngest of three in a family of immigrants, and my daughter's dad was the same. So we were like, we got to get out of here. We're going to do things differently. And, you know, and love to our families, but it was like, that's kind of the only way that we could figure it out. So my parenting is a lot different than the way that I was raised, but it informed me nonetheless. And so Austin was on the docket. I think San Francisco, Portland, maybe. I could be making that up. And it was like, Austin's affordable, and 2007.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very arts driven, and that was important to us. I had family at the time in San Antonio, and we had my former in-laws, and there was a new baby in the family, and her dad got deployed to Afghanistan, and I was like, well, I'm just kicking it with my baby. Yeah. And they were like, you should come move over here. So we moved to Austin, and I had never visited. I think when I was at Mater Dei, I was a competitive dancer, and we had a national championships at the SeaWorld in San Antonio. That was my only touch of Texas, and I was like, whatever. Like, I'm always just like up for an adventure. I like change, so we came here. Yeah, March of 2007, and I have to say it's been a wonderful place to raise my daughter. So I've been here 19 years, and I like had touched in film. Like, I took a couple theater classes in college at OCC, and then like I was doing extra work for like big film productions in LA, and I was dancing the whole time. Like, between being a competitive dancer, I was in a touring company in college, and then I taught kids. So like the arts was always part of and like I love taking pictures, and then like wardrobe and location scouting, like all of those things I did for my own projects. So when we moved here, I think it took me a little while, but I was like, I'm going to be an actor. And then I want to make film, and who do I do that with? And it took me a while. Like, I feel like everybody like had their groups and they were cool, so I had to figure it out. It was really I went to New York and studied there with the creme de la creme of incredible working actors in New York City. And my family stayed here, and I like did this huge thing for myself in like my early 30s, and was basically teaching my daughter at the same time that, you know, just because we're mamas doesn't mean that we can't do things. And I don't know why that was in my mindset. My mom was working, and, you know, she's such a giver and such a host, and always helping people in big projects, like personal projects. So it was never a thing that I learned from my own family. But I think, you know, I was about to graduate from college. I just found out I was pregnant. I was going to go travel the world. And I was like, well, I think my life is going to be different. I'm not going to be able to do that stuff with my friends that I was planning. I think I have to stay home and raise a baby. And I was a stay-at-home mom for a good 5 years. And then I had to learn to talk to adults. And then somewhere along the way, it was like I could go to an acting class, and then it was really just meeting people from there, and then going to workshops and meeting new people, and then eventually went to New York, and then came back with all of this energy. I booked something, and I was on set with somebody who became a dear friend, and then we started making films together, and then we started our own film festival. So it was like something that I learned in New York wasn't just about like me and my instrument and how I could be of service to bring these stories to life. There was a producing aspect to it towards the end that I was like, because I don't use that word lightly, but I have never raised my hand to be in charge of something for a school project. I wasn't very academic. And I remember there was an opportunity, and to put it like nicely, it was like to produce this film festival essentially. And I was like, I want to be in charge of like picking the films, putting them in the order, making a program, like designing the thing. I just was like, I want to do that. I was surrounded by incredibly talented people from ages 18 to, I'd say, mid-50s. And I was like, I mean, I want to be in this project, but like, I want to show the other cool work that people are doing. And so that's like what lit me up as not only like an artist myself, but like a champion of the arts. Like I consider myself that. So came home to Austin with that energy, and then eventually Cine Las Americas found me, and then
good.
Here we are.
Nice.
How did I get? What's the question for me?
So it was more like for Giselle. Yeah. But like
you did a wonderful answer where you like brought it all together.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's the ADHD, it's the perimenopause, where I'm like.
Well, no, I want to make sure I have the thread that we're going on.
No, yeah, what thread? No, more so like for you, I wanted to ask you is because San Antonio, you're like Austin. I mean, San Antonio in Texas is not really known for a lot of film.
Yeah,
but Austin is the one that is known for.
Well, you know, so I made that film in high school as a senior, did really well, and then before I knew it, I was like a senior, and I was like, well, let me look around for film schools. And it seems almost comical now to be like, yeah, UT, right? They're like one of the. I mean, I think they're ranked number 1 for non-private schools in the current ranking for film school. But when I was a student, I was looking around. I applied to USC because I knew they had a film school. I applied to College of Santa Fe because they had a top 10 film school. You know, and I got rejected by both of those. But at some point, I was like, I think UT has a film school.
Yeah,
I think, right?
Maybe.
And
hopefully,
I looked it up, and sure enough, they did. And I didn't know you had to apply to their film school, so I applied. I got into UT. But I didn't get into film school. I got in like my second semester of trying. But that's what brought me here. It was like this just kind of like, I think there's a thing there, right? I had no clue how vibrant the Austin film scene was until I got here. But it's been a massive community of artists. Like I hear stories all the time, like y'all, it's funny, the story about y'all going to the same middle school. That's not surprising here in Austin for just how small the film community is, right? Like, and having been in film for 20 years at a bunch of different places. I worked at UT. I worked at this company called Megalomedia that they do reality TV. So if you're ever seeing like My 600-Pound Life, or whatever, like that's you. Yeah, that's us. They also made a show called Shipping Wars, and then I worked at Rooster Teeth, and now I work at Austin Community College doing film there. I just keep running into people. And sometimes it's people that I've known, you know, like we've worked together in a lot of different places. And sometimes it's people that I met like once, and I worked with them 15 years ago, and then all of a sudden I'm working on a set with them. And it's I love that. It really is. Or it's like, oh, you know, so-and-so. It's like, yeah, I know so-and-so. And it's like, yeah, that happens all the time. Like when we have film events, I know that I'm going to run into somebody that I know. Yeah. I know it. Yeah. Right. I just go there and I show up, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I always joke with my wife that I'm like, we're going to find somebody that I know. And it happens. It's just Austin is I don't want to say small town in a bad way. I just mean the creative environment here is very, very healthy and conducive to like, let's all, you know, mix it up and learn together, you know, that kind of a thing.
Right.
I feel like Austin's very much like a big little city.
It is. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Speaking, I mean, you know, like, so last year we had Elizabeth Avalon, right, as our keynote.
She's coming back to hang out with us.
She is. But we had her, and you know, and obviously Robert Rodriguez, and he ended up actually he went to a rival high school of mine. He also went to St. Anthony's, which is a small Catholic high school in San Antonio. And I didn't know that. And then I was like, oh, well, not only is he from San Antonio, because I knew that, but it's like he went to a rival high school. And it's like you just keep finding ways that you know people and you connect with people, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so. And, yeah, no, that kind of a thing. So, yeah.
It's a pretty cool thing.
How long have you been here?
Austin, 10 years.
I want to know about you.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I've been here for a little bit over 10 years. Okay, cool. I came in 2015.
From California, or Mexico City? But then
so I was born in Mexico City, lived in California for a bit, and then lived in Galveston, Houston for 15 years, and then came here in 2015.
When were you in California? Like what ages were you?
I got there in 95 and went back to Mexico in 98.
And that was in Orange County?
Orange County,
time?
Yeah.
Did you live in Placentia?
No, we lived in Anaheim.
Anaheim.
But our district was where, like going to Placentia Middle School. So I grew up wanting to be a cholo, and I wanted. I don't know you heard
Plus, man.
of, yeah, I don't know you heard of the cholo, like La Jolla and Plasencia.
Yeah.
Like they all. I wanted to be one of those.
Why am I thinking tortilla flats? Is that something?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's something around there.
Is
yeah,
that like a TV or like?
There's a gang that's.
Okay.
I can't remember which one it was, but there's a gang that's called the Flats or something like that.
Yeah, so. Plus was one.
Plus.
K-Town.
Yeah. So yeah, went there, and then I would say like maybe the interesting thing is when I came to Texas, after living in California and Mexico, it was so different.
Oh yeah,
so different. And for me, it took me a while because I was used to the California style, and I'm like, man, why is it a lot different here? And then, but also had the Mexico City thing. So you had like two cultures now coming into one culture. But I was young too, so I think at that age it was good because you get to experience a little bit of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there you get to learn more about like, hey, this is not just like there's a reason why you move around, right? Just not just we're just moving and stuff. I think life, God, whatever you want to believe in, it's a purpose. And I think being around those three, it sort of said like, okay, I got to experience California because it's more art, more creative. Mm-hmm. And I came to to Texas, Houston. It's very business-like. You just work and that's it.
Yeah.
So and then Mexico City, it's Mexico City. It's a mix of different cultures. But then as I'm getting older, getting to experience all of those it's great. Like there's I feel like I enjoy that part of having to. Hey, I live in California. I grew up in the Tupac Biggie era. When there was a beef. So now that I'm older and I tell my nephew about it, he's like, wow, dude, like that's crazy. And then I was here 9/11 when it happened. Yeah. So experiencing that in the country and then, like everything happened after that. So I think a lot of those things sort of shape who I am right now. Yeah. And immigration is a big part as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, no, thank you guys. So I do want to ask you guys, before we go into Cine Las Americas, is just talk about growing up in the United States, mm-hmm. Chicano culture, mm-hmm. First, second generation. How was that for you guys, and how that impacted your life? Because you're here. You say you wanted to be a white at one point, mm-hmm. But now, like as you get older, how being Chicano or being first generation Colombian American, right? Colombian American, yeah. Okay. How is that important for you now that you're mm-hmm. growing up? Because as we get older, I feel like this generation, and even in music, during South by, there was several different showcases that I went to. Mm-hmm. One was Interscope was creating one, and it was a lot of younger artists, younger than 20 years old, mm-hmm. and they really talked about. Because I asked them hey, what's the message or mission and vision behind your songs? And they all talked about man, I wanted my experience in life. In the past, when I was younger and we were creating music, I never created, but it was all about popping bottles and shots. Mm-hmm. So it's why? And then they're it's just growing up, you're seeing my parents, seeing what they go through, and I want to reflect that on my music. And then you hear it and you're like, these kids, they're shaping up something different. There's something going on that's gonna be very good for future generations.
I have noticed that recently too. I'm these young artists are really, really paying homage to their roots. Mm-hmm. And you're right. That's not something that I was thinking about. I was I just thought about 3 things, and it was not that. When it was guys in bands, skater dudes, and then I don't even know what the third one would be, but I
Cholos.
My daughter and cholitos. My daughter is so smart. She is so
great actress too.
Smart. Oh, and she's very talented.
Movie, yeah.
But her capacity to share her experience, to be empathetic, and to we get along really well, and we laugh a lot. Sometimes I'm very humbled by the things that I share with her and what she shares with me. But I'm just girl, you are so with it. Mm-hmm. When I was your age, I was thinking about 3 things. I'll tell you 2. No. So it's really cool that the access of Earth has, I mean, there's so much shit going on in the world. I think there's too much suffering. Not a lot of things are happening that do not need to happen.
Right.
But I think there's this like resiliency that's coming up from our younger generation that it's like, we're going to be okay because of them, you know?
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like I feel the same way when I look at it, at the art that's out there, right? Because again, when I was growing up, I didn't see myself in anything, right? Like I had a friend, and actually, I had a friend that I went to film school with, and she was black, and I remember both of us talking about why we were so anglicized, and it's because you never saw yourself, right? You never saw a positive example of yourself. Growing up in San Antonio was one of the most like Hispanic cities in the country, and yet when I turned on the TV, I never saw brown characters anywhere, right? Or whatever. So you do have this feeling of like, not supposed to be there. Like, they were very few and far between, right? Like Hector Elizondo and whatever, but they're all supporting characters. They're not like the main character. And I think that narrative has changed. And the interesting thing about it is like, it wasn't popular to be Hispanic or to be Latin when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
But now it is. And I think that is really, really great. Like, you're seeing a lot of people take pride and ownership in that. Maybe it's because it's more valued now. And we'll talk about that when we get to the Cine part, but how I came to Cine was an interesting thing, and it was a result of me saying to the company that I worked with at the time, being kind of in a role that I was able to kind of like help out, was that you don't know the buying power of this group. Mm-hmm. It's more than that, right? But if I can prove to you the buying power, then maybe you'll pay attention more to this group, right? And so that was kind of a big thing that I realized at the time already. And it's because, we're such a massive group of people with so many different facets and so many different, splintered groups that feed into Latin, the name Latin, and it's a lot, and it's really impressive, and you can kind of like see now how valued that is, but I don't think it was when we were young.
Absolutely.
And maybe it took that kind of like, whatever it is, the all those kind of people in the 90s that were making film and television and music and, and really kind of like making a name for themselves. Like, it blows my mind that like Dua Lipa went to Mexico City and sang Selena songs. Yeah. And she spoke in Spanish, right? Yeah. Because as a kid, like, I remember people didn't give it, like, outside of like the Hispanic community, people didn't really give a crap that Selena died, right? But we did, because she was so massive to us. And now, almost 30 years later, you're seeing how loved she is or how well known she is, and that right there. If you can just like put a through line from her death, not her death obviously, but like her existing as a singer in that time and what it looked like, over to like Dua Lipa of all people singing in Spanish and singing her songs, you will notice that mirrors like the popularity or the acceptance of Latin culture now, right? Like how much people enjoy it, and that does open doors for all of us,
It's I always thought about like representation matters, right?
It does.
And I think especially younger generations, like this kid right here, one of them, they were called Grupo Ilusión. They had a showcasing at a carniceria, kind of like La Michoacana. Yeah. And Interscope actually is the one that produced all of that. It's like a tiny disc, but like in a carniceria.
So cool.
And that's like, God, that's pretty badass. We're going to hopefully, knock on wood, we're going to do something similar in the future, the second part of the year. But
in a carniceria?
Maybe in a taqueria. It's one of those. It's going to be involved with music.
There's so much more to explore, too, I think, these days. Like, things were so regimented, right? Like, I was on a radio show a couple weeks ago, and they're like, what advice do you have for actors? And I'm like, I maybe one of the questions was something like, how do you make it? Like, what's the way? I'm like, there's not one way.
Right.
And more like, since 2020, we've dismantled, like, the veil has come off. We are seeing that systems are set in place to keep people oppressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have to build our own shit. We really, really do. And there are just more ways to create your own stuff and to present the way that you want to present. Mm-hmm. So I love that a company like Interscope is willing to do something really fucking cool like that.
Yeah. And I hope, and I know other companies are starting to do something similar. Like Sony is doing something, and Universal's also doing something, which is great. Like I think for what's gonna come in the future is gonna be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it because we're gonna get to experience it ourselves and see like the work that many of you guys did, and seeing like the fruits of it now. Yeah. So it's something great that we won't be like, oh man, we built this and it took 30 years to build. Like maybe it took 10 years. Like maybe, but
we're
it got done.
We're the link.
Yeah,
you know?
And again, like showing companies like Interscope, we have buying power.
Yeah,
we as a group can put a lot of effort into something. Right, don't overlook that. And I think that's how you prove to people. And it's the industry that we're in.
Yeah,
but it's also the world we're in. Show them you belong there. Right, like show them how powerful you can be, and you can do what you need.
Now it's still la raza. Tell them, hey, you want a representation? Now you got to show up and support.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, man, we needed a platform like that's like very representing to us. And I was like, all right, dude, you wanted it, now support it. Show up for it, because it's different when you're like just saying it like, oh, we want a representation, but when it's there, you're like,
yeah,
like no, like hey, ponte listo y cae.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for me it's ponte las pilas. Yeah, there we go. Just because I mean, there's a lot of good things that are happening, and I tell people, don't miss out. Like, don't miss out on hearing about the story of someone. Don't miss out about what's going on, because one day this, it's gonna grow eventually, and then you're gonna be like, man, where was I at when that happened? Like, no, you're here. Like, trust me, enjoy the process from like anything smaller to bigger. Like, just be part of it, because if not, the thing is, like, if we don't do it ourselves, like I always say, like it's called amor propio. Like, if you don't have love for yourself, then no one else is gonna have love for you. Right. So.
And then you're not going to know how to love. You got to take care of yourself so you can take care of everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I 100% agree.
It was actually from America's the best team in the world in Mexico, and they won 3 championships, so they talk about that the whole time.
See how we can inspire one another.
I know.
I hope Austin FC wins something, so that way they can have more people to themselves. Yeah. So I wanna ask you more about Cine Las Americas. When did it all start, and how did you? I mean, you were talking about they reached out to you, but it's just more so when you came to Cine Las Americas. What was it like when you first started to like now? What is something different? The growth, just how has it changed? But also, how has the organization impacted Austin and Texas? I mean, because it's not just Austin, but it's a lot of Texas films. So just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Cine Las Americas is a multicultural nonprofit organization here in Austin, Texas. It started in 1998 by 4 friends who wanted to see Cuban films. Celeste Quesada is one of the co-founders, along with her friends Laura, Sonia, and Renee. And they used to screen at the Dolby Theater. Yeah. And I feel like we've worked with a lot of theaters since then. We're celebrating our 28th year coming up very, very soon. And I got involved, time and illusion. I'll just say a handful of years ago. And I had heard about Cine Las Americas. When I moved here, pretty soon after, I remember seeing a really cool postcard with cool artwork on it. It was a revolver with a bouquet of flowers coming out of it. And it said Cine Las Americas.
Kind of like this. Look at that. That's a cool one.
That's a cool one. That's our 2028 edition. No, we're in 2026. Yeah. But that's our 28th edition. 28th year. Victoria Villasana created that poster for us this year. Nice. We did a poster competition. That's something that's new that we did this year. But going back to when I started, I think there was just a need for some leadership, and there is an awesome man about town named Francisco Garcia, who's very involved within the arts community, and he reached out and said, "Hey, they're looking for a director. Let's talk. I think you would be a great fit." And I'm like, but I just have my own film festival where my friend and I do whatever we want, and it's just the two of us. I don't know about this big film festival. But they let me in. I said, okay, I'll try. They let me in, and I was like, I'm not going to step into a director role, but I'd love to kind of fill any holes that need it. It was like maybe 2 months before the 25th film festival, and I was just helping. I feel like along the ways of the different like jobs that I've had and like where I see my strengths, I'm very much like what's missing, and then I'll jump on that and then smooth it out. Just a little thing about me.
Nice. You didn't come in like, hey guys, we're gonna do it my way or no way. That's good.
No, never. It's very collaborative. I mean, I'm also very much of like, I know I don't know a lot of things, and I will say that, but that means that if I know something and I feel it, I'm gonna be like, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah. Thank you so much for your cooperation. But it's usually like, hey, what do y'all think? I'd love to hear some ideas. So I feel like I'm more on the collaborative side for sure. But since then I think the biggest challenge has been the funding, the cuts in the funding for a lot of arts organizations nationally, and our community has really stepped up and supported. This year we had the poster art competition. We have a musical guest, music video curator, Gina Chavez. What up? And we are also hosting our conference, which we're saying it's the second year, but really it's the third year because we had a pilot program where it wasn't necessarily open to the public, but a lot of the filmmakers and the folks that were involved in the film festival 3 years ago. And then we opened it up to the public in the last 2 years, and that's when Hector joined us in leadership in that capacity. What else is new? Well, Emergente. So we used to have a youth-focused showcase called Emergencia for youth filmmakers ages 19 and under. And now we have our own day where we're celebrating these young artists over at the Millennium Youth Complex, which is like badass East Austin, old school represent. And I'm trying to think of any other new things, but really it's just expanding our community and expanding creativity in a sense too, with like how we can bring in the community where it's not just like, hey, we picked these films and you can come and watch it. It's like, hey, can you help us pick the artists who are going to be making the poster this year? And that's great. I thought that I loved. It was so fun to be able. I think we received like 25 different designs or 25 different artists from around the world, and then a number of them did submit multiple designs, which was really, really cool. I think they were really excited.
They're like, just in case.
Like top 10. It's like we got a film badge for you because we want to hang out with y'all. It's really about like that's how I'm like seeing myself inviting people this year. Oh yeah. I'm like, hey, come hang out with us. Like we want you there. And essentially it's, we're focusing on Indigenous and Latina film from around the world. We have this showcase that we've been doing called Hecho en Tejas, which is going to be celebrating our local and regional filmmakers. That's something that I've been hosting. This is my second year doing it. I love it. I wish we could do more. I wish we had more time to do more. But it really is bringing together these different artists from around the world. And it's also inviting people to come in and see what stories we're sharing. Yeah. So that they're like universal stories, essentially. You don't have to speak Spanish. We have, what are those words called on the bottom? Subtitles, I need words right here.
The lower third.
It's for everyone to come and enjoy. And we have, on Thursday, we have our family film is going to be the Street Smart documentary about Sonia.
I'm excited about that.
Manzano,
I'm excited that she's going to be here.
She's going to be here. We have special guests coming in. Our dear friend here, I'll have you talk more about the conference side, but Lou Diamond Phillips is hanging out with us. We've got David Alvarado, who directed American Pachuco, The Legend of Luis Valdez. Luis Valdez's brother, Danny, I think he's coming. Gina Chavez is hanging out with us. Like, there's some expansion in that, like, we're like bringing people in different capacities, and it really just is really exciting. We had a pre-launch event a couple weeks ago, and we shared some trailers and some shorts, and people got to meet each other. And it was essentially for our supporters that have been supporting us over the years. And like I said, like, our supporters really needed to step up in this last year. We had a few different foundations reach out and give money that we've lost through the NEA grant. And it's just really about people.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I came to Cine in a little bit different way. Like, when I was working at Rooster Teeth, 2020, right? Obviously, that happened, the whole George Floyd thing.
George Floyd was murdered.
Yes. And I want to shout out my boss at Rooster Teeth, Jordan Levin, who was he was the general manager at the time. He held a town hall because, I mean, you could see how angry people were, right? And he was like, and it was virtual because it was during COVID, and he had a town hall, and he's like, I just want everybody to come and we'll talk. And I showed up, and I was maybe like the second person to talk, and I talked about how much it mattered to me, representation and what was going on and all those things. And lo and behold, I got an invite they took all that and they decided to do this thing where they would create a bunch of BRG groups, which is business resource groups, DEI basically, but it was groups that would support those things in the community or at work. And so there was the Asians of Rooster Teeth, and they're all self-named. There was disabilities, which is the people with physical, and they named themselves that, right? Black Excellence, Iridescence, which is the LGBTQIA plus one. I think it was Parents of Rooster Teeth, and then we went with Gallos Unidos. And I was, me and Santiago Suarez Ruiz, who's going to be at the festival this year, was my partner.
Back again,
yeah. We ran it. We ran Gallos Unidos, and we were given $10,000 every year to do whatever we wanted to give back to the community and represent that. So one of the things we ended up doing was every year we made like a clothing line that the sales benefited, like Latinitas, which is a local nonprofit for young girls interested in STEM and things like that.
Shout out to Salwa.
Yeah, Salva. Yeah, I love Salva. But we made a whole clothing line. We had all these things that we would make, and we would hire people in the community, and then we would, whatever we made. And I was very adamant. There was some people that were like, well, we got to make some costs back. And I was like, that's not what you told us, right? You told us all proceeds from this are going to go to them. I want them all to go to them. And then we had like every year to wrap up Hispanic Heritage Month, we had a big, because we had the ability to do so. We had like a I don't want to say like a telethon because we didn't raise anything, but we had like a showcase. And we would have all these people from the community come in, and we would just talk about everything, and we would film it, and it was on YouTube, and you can find all of them still. And the other thing we did at that time was we found Cine Las Americas, and we arranged Santiago and I we sponsored Emergencia for the last 3 years, that it was a thing before it became its own thing. And that coincided, we ran Gallos Unidos for 3 years, and that coincided with Rooster Teeth getting shut down in 2024. So that time period where I wasn't working and I was looking for a job and just kind of like floating by on my severance and everything else, I got a call from somebody, I forget who, at Cine, and they were like, do you want to maybe join this committee that we're starting to think about a conference? And so I came very specifically for the conference side of things. Yeah. And I was lucky enough that people believed in what I was doing, and I had the experience from being a producer and having done panels before that I kind of organically, if you remember, ended up taking the lead on the conference last year. Yeah. I had the bandwidth for it. I know how to do it. I'd done stuff like that before, but it was still a learning process. And I ended up, with our team, we ended up having a really, really great panel last year, our group of panelists. And now I'm on the board for Cine, and I'm also the conference director. And so in year 2, it's been a unique set of challenges, but it's something that we figured out already. And I mean, shout out to Giselle, being honest, but like there was a world in which we might not have, because of the budget cuts, we might not have had conference this year. Yeah. But Giselle,
we've had to trim some things, or like the degree of the thing.
Yes. Yeah. But Giselle was like, I believe in this. I believe in the conference part of it, which, because the festival's one thing and it's great, it's important. But the conference is an opportunity for people to put people on the panel that are doing the work, right? And then saying like, these are your local filmmakers, and talk to us about whatever panel you're on, And then afterwards, stay and talk to them, right? Like everybody networks, everybody meets. We're on this thing because we had you as a panelist last year, right? And so
actually, we were on it because we were first we met with Ivan Cornejo and Nesquik at South by. Yeah, and then that's when we became friends.
But it's important to have that, and I think to have the space, and it's a very humbling experience to remember that you're representing not just who you think you're representing, right? Like growing up in San Antonio and in South Texas, it's all Mexicanos, right? Like everybody here is like nothing but Mexicanos. But then I remember at some point we put something out at Rooster Teeth, and they had a very, very giant fan base, but also very vocal fan base. Mm-hmm. And we put something out, and they were like, it's not just Mexicanos, right? It's like, I'm from Guatemala, I'm from whatever. Yeah. And like having that as a reminding yourself that if you lead something like this, you're not only representing what you think you are, you're representing everybody who falls under that group of Latin, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was always really great to remember, and that's one of the things I love about Cine being Latin and indigenous filmmakers is like we have that representation on purpose. So that's how I came to Cine. And
so the 3 years that you were doing Gallos Unidos, and you had the $10,000 every year, you gave it to Cine Las Americas.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, no, like we didn't give 10,000 to Cine. We sponsored it.
Yeah. Every year you sponsored,
But I would do whatever we could, and again, that's why I shout out to Jordan, because he was the driving force in that. But like every one of those 6 groups had $10,000 every year.
That's so cool.
And even in our last year, when it was clear we're probably going to get shut down, they still managed to. They said to Del VB, we already earmarked this money for these groups.
I remember that. You advocated.
Yeah, and so that was always.
So you gave us our prize money for our youth films.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And that's how we talked, because we had been in a meeting the year before we brought you on to work on the conference. Yeah.
And so, it's I mean, in an era now, again, like you said, whatever you want to make of this current era we're in, when they're stripping away support for DEI groups and everything like that, ours was a time where they were like, no, you go run with this. And we didn't have a lot of oversight. They were like, you can do what you want. Like we didn't, not every group had a why do I keep thinking on it? Had a show at the end, a live event, right? Not every group did. You could do what you wanted with that $10,000, but we were like, we're going to use every penny of it. So like we had events.
Studio 4?
Yeah, in stage 4 we had events. We had Charles Ramirez-Berg, who's like one of the most amazing filmmakers and educators in the world, who's a professor at UT, was a professor of mine. Every year we had a screening with him at AFS Cinema, which is where the film festival is for Cine. But we had a screening during Hispanic Heritage Month. And the first year he showed High Noon. And he picked that because he was like, there's a woman named Kathy Jurado who plays Helen Ramirez, I think. That's her name. And he was like, and I was like, why are we showing High Noon? And he was like, because this movie is great, right? It's an amazing movie. But she plays a character that is Mexican, and she is not second fiddle to anything. And he was like, and I want everybody to understand that in the 1950s, when this film was made in Hollywood, she came from Mexico. And to understand her story as not only a person who in the movie doesn't take shit from anybody, but in real life, she was the same way. Yeah. He was like, that's not something that you found in the 50s in Hollywood, and I want to point that out. And then the next year we showed Selena for the 25th anniversary, and we talked about that. And then the final year that we were a thing, we did Spy Kids. And he's in Spy Kids, and he's a mentor to Robert. And so he was giving us a lot of stories about that. So I mean, we always had opportunities to do stuff because those things aren't easy and they're not cheap. You might think that they are, relatively speaking, but it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort, as you all know, to put anything on. And we were able to do that every year, and I don't take that lightly. And especially now when I see how quickly funding dries up when it's not in favor. I appreciate that.
Or flavor.
Yeah, flavor.
Yeah. both. But it's I think one of the things is it's perseverance.
100%.
Doing it even when you have to trim some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but it'll be one thing if you don't do it. Like it would change everything.
Yes. I feel like any challenge, and I'm even going to say this word failure because that gets thrown a lot and people are so scared of it. I don't know. It's always an opportunity to just fine-tune an idea, another idea pops up that you wouldn't have
Yeah.
originally gone through because you have these stipulations. So in the end, it's like all a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, shout out Giselle because she's so easy to work with. Like I'm the same way as you are. Whereas like if you see a problem, it's not like stop and freak out. It's like how do we roll around this?
Yeah.
And she has been like that with everything. Everything that we encounter, we kind of approach it as a team, and we have a committee. But yeah, I mean, there's no stressing over a problem. It's more like how do we figure this out? That's it. You know what I mean? And I love that.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's been really
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
How
you.
how was nice. What is something like safer? Because I wanted to, like earlier, you mentioned how Cine Las Americas, it's not just for Mexicans. It's for every Latino, Latine out there. That's important because you don't want to have people feel like left out. And I think, especially when you're doing something collective, the more you can bring in. Of course, there's times that you have to have standards and you have to meet certain requirements, but the part of hey, just know that's not just Mexicans doing this thing. It's a culture, it's that culture that goes from Mexico all the way down to Argentina.
Yeah.
So if you want to be part of it, all you have to do is do your work and submit it and
We'd love to see what you're working on.
Yeah.
Please. I mean, we're doing shorts, experimental shorts, narratives, documentaries, music videos, youth.
Yeah.
That's another thing I feel like we've been able to really, in the last couple of years, is expand the youth program, not only for showcasing films, but also for teaching. We had like a summer program with like learning to make music videos and filmmaking on your phone. And then just recently, just some other partners joined in. And there was something going on at the YMCA, Club de Clout, where essentially like content making, like we've got these tools, we got these little computers on our phones. We can use them to create stuff and just to like amp up, the creativity for these kids who are in school. Because, excuse me, there's something that happens in those middle ages where I like to call it indoctrination, where like the little magic comes, like kind of fizzles a little bit, the creative thinking. And so I feel like this is one way that we can help, celebrate these voices, these ideas, encourage young people to be creative, to stay creative, and to celebrate their work,
Yeah.
For sure. So what this year, you mentioned already, but if you can like recap it again, is what is something people can look forward to when they attend the 28th Cine Las Americas Film and Conference Festival?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
community.
Festival, yeah.
I'm gonna. I've talked about the festival, so I'll say community, and I'm gonna pass it over and say conference. What can people look forward to experiencing at the conference?
Great time, great panels. We had our planning committee. We started this year because last year I had a lot of ideas and I came out the gate and we had a lot of people and whatever. And this year it's not that we didn't. It was more like, okay, so how do we follow that up, right? What do we want to talk about? And we sat around and some people said, I want this kind of representation. I want that kind of a thing. I want this kind of a thing. And given the constraints that we had, we came up with this really great idea. And everything like this, if you want to, like anybody who's out there wants to know how you do things like this, including making a film or working on a film, it's always like, in my experience, throwing things out the wall and seeing what sticks. And then I like to joke about it being like this, that game of Plinko, where you drop the little thing and it's just like boom, 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 boom.
And then it ends up wherever it
ends up where it ends up. And it's because that's what I like to say is like making any kind of endeavor like this is that thing just bouncing back and forth until it falls where it falls. By that I mean the conference. We all threw out a bunch of ideas, and this year is what is the result of those ideas. Chasing some down, seeing what worked, seeing who was available, seeing who wasn't, and then
who responded to
who responded,
yeah,
and just seeing like what we could make out of that. And I'm happy to say that the couple, like all of them, were what was requested. We pretty much got. So we have 3 panels and a keynote this year, or fireside chat. The first one in order is going to be artivism, which I love that idea. That was somebody that evolved, and it's basically like, how do you use our art right now in 2026 to fight back, to to stand up for yourself, to put a voice to people who don't have voices. So that's one panel, and we have a lot of really great panelists coming to that. And then we have our second one is our fundraising panel. I remember this was the only one that I kind of like felt a little like everybody has a fundraising panel, right? Every film festival has a fundraising panel. And somebody in our committee was like, that's because everybody needs it, especially Latinos, right? Like
I'm like, take that off of the the description.
Yeah,
Just be
yeah.
like,
Everybody needs it. So, but we decided to do a little differently. So it's going to be a lot of industry professionals who are going to be on the panel talking about the pitches and the pitch decks that they've done that have worked, like the good and the bad and the ugly about making a pitch deck and actually trying to get something that resembles award-winning funding, right? Pitches. And so that's a really fun idea that we're going to have, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then finally, the biggest one, shout out to our board member, John Estrada, who's a friend of mine. I went to school with him, film school. He's actually who got me on there, is the mental health panel. So you're talking about mental health and filmmaking, right? Because mental health is a huge thing. It's massively important. And if you're an artist, the whole like tortured artist thing, that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
And it can be really hard. Post-production's hard, pre-production's hard, production's hard. Like coming up with it, getting your heart into it, like that's a lot. And
then you do it, and then you celebrate it, and then it's done, and then what?
And then what? And then what? Right? That is.
And what do you do next?
Right. So that panel is going to be about like how do you stay sane, or how do you stay sane, and how do you keep your sanity during all those times when it's really hard. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun. And then Marta Mendez Cross, who is a panelist last year. She's an actress, born in Panama. That's right. But she was born on a military base, and then grew up in Texas. Went to UT. Went to LA. She's now a working filmmaker, and actress,
writer, producer,
writer. Yeah. She's gonna be our keynote. She's gonna be talking about her journey, a lot of the films and the things that she's been in. Her and her really dear friends who are also at the conference last year, Val and Virginia.
Pictured right
here. Yeah, they and her mom. They made a movie called Las Tres Sisters, which is massively important. It's they made it, they wrote it, they got it financed, all those things, and then it became a feature that you could go watch in theaters, and it plays on Stars now. Like there's one afternoon I was like sitting around and it was streaming, and I emailed them and I was like, hey, this was after last year when we met them, and I was like, I can't tell you how huge that is. Like it might not seem like that, right? But like growing up as a kid, that whole thing we just said, right? Full circle, not seeing yourself.
Yeah.
This is a film where they're like, it's playing on a major, it just opened in Costa Rica. It's playing it played a lot in theaters, and now it's like streaming regularly on, not even streaming, it's showing on a broadcast channel, right? And to be able to see yourself, that's massive.
Yeah.
And I emailed them and I was like, this is the kind of thing that when I was a teenager would have mattered a lot, to be able to turn on and see myself represented in the people that were on screen. And so she's going to be talking. And she's going to be talking about that. And she's got a new film that she made, a short film called iChild, and she's turning that into a feature. She's going to talk about that part of it too. So we're really excited for all of those things, and to have just a group of filmmakers come together with the people who show up in the audience, and then afterwards, like, let's all sit and talk, right? Yeah. Let's have a good time. So.
That's so I was looking at the list of conferences. Are they going to be in the same day or?
Yes, they're all going to be on May 16th, Saturday, May 16th.
Okay.
Last year we had 2 days. This year we were able to streamline it into one. Starts at 12, goes to 5. It's you can get your badges, individual badges, or you can get them with a festival badge. At the Holiday Inn over off of right across the street from AFS Cinema. So all those things are going to be really close. And that night is the big night where Lou Diamond Phillips is showing his new movie Keep Quiet, and then La Bamba afterwards. So you can just come
35 millimeter.
And 35 millimeter, and you can just come to the conference and stay for that because they're right next to each other. So that was another thing that worked out really well.
That's very good. I think when you have you have the festival, right? When you have the access point of getting everything right across the street, that's how it helps.
And that's those things like we talked about. Those are things that little Plinko thing, the way that it ends up, it might not have looked that way, but it ended up that way.
It's going to be over here. Actually, it's not going to be over here, but it's going to be over here.
Yeah,
it's
but it's a massive thing, right? Like you think about that, like time of day.
Yeah,
you want to get the most impact. You want to get all those people who come to be on the panels. You want them to feel that there's a big group for them, watching them, cheering them on. And vice versa, you want to give quality programming, and so it all worked out to be really good this year.
I'm looking forward to it. Yaricel is going to be part of the activism, artivism. So thank you for inviting Yaricel Estrada.
No, thank you for sending her our way. When I talked to her on a Zoom call to see her interest, like she was telling me what it meant to her and what she wanted to do and what she wanted to talk about, and that was huge.
She's I would say Yaricel is a talented person as a friend. I mean, just as a friend. Just to work with her, it's like very unique because it's someone that's always going to contribute. How can I contribute instead of like, how is it going to benefit me?
Right.
And I think
that's huge.
when you find someone like that, it's amazing. And I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you guys as a collective have had that. How can we contribute instead of like, well, I'm going to bring my ideas and then you guys shut everybody up. So that's good. I'm happy that Cine Las Americas is built on that type of aspect.
Yeah, it's very important. I ask Giselle sometimes. I'm like, did I come off as too like, when we're all making decisions. I'm like, was I too strong or whatever? 'Cause I don't want anybody to feel like they're not.
Yeah.
And then we had an arm wrestling contest, and then I won, so I was too strong.
We went with the name or the date. That was to decide the date. So.
Okay, the 16 fine.
Yeah, I know.
So the one thing that I noticed about the conference is, because it's not just how to. It's not just how can you turn on the camera to film. How can you do a film? I mean, that's going to be talked about, right? But I think the important aspect of it is the personal aspect.
Yeah.
I think the intention from what I'm seeing, which is great, is just talking about business. A lot of times for me, I'm a type of person that like, hey, I feel like my photography can fund a lot of the Otra por favor stuff. But if I want to go bigger, do something, I need to learn how to do some, build like pitch an idea, and that way I can, get funding for it, which hopefully one day can happen. And then also mental health. I think at the end of the day, like, because art, it's a lot of feeling, and a lot of it could be from stuff that happened to you in the past. Yeah. So relatable to how you want it to, your own perspective, put it in a film or in documentary or even in writing. But taking care of the mental health part is important. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to each and then the conversation with conversando con Marta Méndez Cross.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty cool. It's a for those of you that are not busy on the 16th, make a point to it because it's gonna be a pretty. It's gonna be an investment. And how much are the tickets at the moment for the film and the festival?
Let me look that up.
There's whatever it is, it's a great value.
Yeah.
It is a great value. So I believe right now you can get a film badge for $150, 5 days of film, parties, and then you get for only $15 more, you can get access to the conference. If you just wanted to do the conference, you're working all week, and then Saturday's the day where you can come and join us. It's $60.
Yeah. And again, that's 4 panels, hour each. You're going to see
some snacks for you.
Yeah, a ton of filmmakers that are, working, that are in the same journey that you might be if you're somebody who wants to be a working filmmaker. And we're going to have allies too. Like that's a huge thing for me is like not just the Latin community, but anybody who wants to be a part of this that has a perspective that can help. We're going to have all that. So yeah.
We've got a lot of great people that have helped other filmmakers and other artists that will be present to share their experience. And I remember last year we had somebody driving from super far.
Yeah, there was a couple of places that came.
Like as, to come be part of the audience and to be able to receive all of the knowledge.
Yeah, and this year we're going to have representation from Austin Film Society, Texas Film Commission, I think Austin Film Festival, this group called Entre, which is a kind of like artist support group in the Valley that gives support for all of the filmmakers in the Valley. So you're going to have representation from all over Texas over here, which is going to be fantastic. Yeah.
I feel like if you're not coming to Cine Las Americas this year, you're missing out.
I think so.
Yeah. If you like watching, film, if you like, hearing good talks in the panel, in a conference, I don't know what you're doing, but you're missing out.
You meet new people. You can see people you haven't worked with in a long time.
And like we were
actors.
saying, it's a small. You have no idea how that might pay off in the future. So.
Oh yeah.
Elizabeth Avalon was our fireside chat guest of honor last year, but she's going to be helping us with the Q&A with Lou Diamond Phillips. So that'll be fun. that's on that same Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I know Como Las Movies will be there as well. And they actually did the intro song. Well, they allowed us to use the intro song for Otra, por favor.
That's so cool. Yeah. So we're gonna have their video on our website, and then so they were accepted into the film festival. We had 7 spots available that Gina Chavez chose, and then she has top 3 out of those submissions that are going to be at the music video party, with another 6 that she curated. Some being Gabby Moreno. I remember that one because that was the last thing that just came in this morning, and other incredible, talented friends. So come hang out, and my friend Tropicana Joe is going to be DJing, and that's going to be at Lester Pearl East. It's going to be free for you to attend. So we've got some freebies. The music video party is going to be free. Our documentary shorts program is going to be free. Our narrative shorts program is going to be free. So come hang out. If I'm on a budget. If you are on a budget too, come check out the short films. And you know what I love about shorts?
Sorry.
At any festival is like you're getting so much in such little time, So come hang out.
For sure. I'm enjoying everything that Cine Las Americas has to offer. And I think it's not just film, music, and especially in Austin. People that you appreciate, they're going to be there showcasing something.
A quick question. Have you been to any Cine Las Americas events before we met?
First time. I heard about it in the past, but I was always busy, so I never really did it. Took the time to do anything outside of like work. And then I think as I started doing more stuff with Otra, then I started. I needed to learn more about people that are doing things. But for me, it was just more like, how can I contribute to it instead of like, I just want to invite people on my podcast and that's it.
Yeah.
So then I met the people that I first got close to was Nelson from Cine Las Americas. I've known them from years. Then after that, it was just more getting to know people, and then I started seeing more local stuff going on. So I think that's how I learned about Cine Las Americas. But I learned about it a couple years before, like we got invited, but I never really dove into learning more about it until we were part of it.
I mean,
but I should have.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same for me. I remember I still have that postcard from when I first moved here. So sometimes it takes us a while to get here. All good. We will welcome you when you're ready to join us. So I think, too, there's longevity, like the 28 years that we've been celebrating. I know people have heard of us, but haven't really officially, experienced what we have to offer. So this is your invitation to come do so this year. Because, honestly, it won't be the same without you. It really won't.
And even if you have not learned about it in the past and you're just learning about it now, it's good to know about it now, because then it's not like you missed out of what happened in the past. But you know what? If you don't come right now, you're gonna miss out on what's gonna happen in the 16th. I mean, actually, from the 13th to the 17th of May.
Yes.
This
I know.
Oh yeah. This episode will be releasing Friday, May 8th, I believe. Yeah. So it's a week before the festival. Yeah. So
come on, you got a week to get ready for it.
Yeah. So in your panel, and this is a question we always have for our guests before we wrap up. But it's you're busy. You're doing a lot of stuff. You're creating stuff. You're putting stuff together, organizing, and it's a lot of it is to entertain people. At the end of the day, entertainment, film, but a lot of that comes with taking care of yourself as well. The question is, doing all of that, what do you do to balance work life and also take care of your mental health and just remain sane?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking. Hector?
I do martial arts. And I cook. I started cooking during the pandemic because we just bought our house and we have a full kitchen now. And I just was like, I'm going to do this to decompress. And I love it. And then at the same time, I've done martial arts now for almost 20 years. I teach. I have private lessons, I have students, and then I run the stunt class and I do stunts. And so that physically keeps me like, that's a massive release. And I know that that's for anybody, right? Like running any kind of physical activity really helps. But I mean it, like my body does not like it when I don't work out for a while. And it's something that's great. And it helps me teach and give back. And, it's a lot of fun. And so those two things really help me stay sane. Like when my everybody jokes, like it's, probably really horribly sexist, but people are like, well, if he cooks, do you clean? And my wife's like, no, he cleans also. Cause like I do. Cause like,
thank you.
I get to, what I do is I put my music on and I cook.
Yeah.
And then afterwards we have a really good meal. And then,
nice.
and then I put the music back on and I clean everything. And for me, it's like mentally just like,
that's so cool. That's like the full process.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it sounded like I was just going to jump in. You're done, right?
Yes.
Are you sure?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. You get to do those things. I have like a bag of rituals, and I'll just like anywhere from transcendental meditation to morning pages to tapping to walking around Town Lake, jumping into Barton Springs. But I think the thing that's been most constant is getting enough hours of sleep.
That's
I like to do 8 to 9. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I get
Sleep.
6.
5, 6, give or take.
I gotta do more than that. Yeah, those are my things that are kind of in the constant play.
The contemplate, rotate it.
Rotate all my
Nice.
rotating
That's good.
playlist.
That's good.
Music is also medicine for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have it with your ritual too.
There we go. Well, Hector, Giselle, thank you for coming to Otra, por favor. How can people reach out to you guys? Reach out to, like learn more about it, or actually just the website of Cine Las Americas? And also, how can they get involved in case they still want to be, whether volunteering or, just showing up and buying a badge?
Absolutely. You can go to cinelasamericas.org. We have links to sign up to volunteer. Can't do it without the volunteers. If you get a certain amount of hours, you get a badge, and then you can enjoy the rest of your time with us as a spectator and community member. And then, if you've got some funds and you're looking to throw them around, we would love to help you with that. And also just word of mouth, like tell your friends. If you can't go, maybe you can let some friends know that we got some cool stuff going on. And, that'd be great.
Yeah. And you can find us on all of the normal channels, like, at least for me, like
even LinkedIn and TikTok.
LinkedIn.
Those are ones that I don't know, so that's why I said it like that.
And you can, and we'll be there to just chat. Like, we're going to be there for most of the festival, chatting and meeting people and working with people, and being able to network, which I think is a huge important thing, like I said. And so you can find us anywhere, find me online anywhere, like the normal channels. I only on Instagram, I only go unprivate or public during Cine.
Oh.
That's the only time. The rest of the time, it's like, so if you want to meet me and follow, you can do that now.
Yeah.
I like to take a lot of pictures, so I have the Instagram.
Yeah.
I have I like doing it all. I think everything's public except for my dog.
That's private. That's very special. What kind of dog do you have, and what's your dog's name?
I have a Shiba Inu, and he's
I love him.
3 years old. His name is Mochi.
That's cute.
Mochi.
Yeah. So he actually comes to work with me every day.
They're funny
That's
dogs.
amazing.
Shiba Inus are funny dogs.
Oh yeah,
Very
he's
interesting.
character.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, we have a little pity terrier.
Oh, that's right. Me
named
too.
Ahsoka, and she's really cute after the Star Wars character. She's adorable. She is adorable. She knows it. Like, everywhere she walks, people are like, "Oh no, you're so cute."
And they know they're like,
Yes, same. I have Paloma Loma. I
Paloma
adopted
Loma.
her from the shelter, but pit bull terrier, and we're learning some things right now. She used to be very social, and now she's a little more trepidatious with people. So I'm not like fully allowing her to meet people. It's I want to respect everybody's space, and I definitely don't want anyone to get hurt. So, but she's fun, she's silly, and just we have a good time at home.
Nice. I think with dogs is like the is learning the spacing part.
Yeah.
That makes a huge thing.
I like my dog. If you're listening, Paloma Loma, I need space too. I need space. She's very much. Have we talked about the Velcro dog?
But we've seen, like, we've had conference calls getting ready for the festival, and like her dog will come in and just like eat her space and just like sit next to her, and like my dog is the same way, but not on camera.
Like,
I sit on a chair so she can't get up to me, but like, yeah.
I'm like outside on my balcony.
Yeah,
like
and the dog just comes up. So yeah.
Mine takes a nap on the couch outside, and he the whole day just doesn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it, everybody. Se cuidan, se porten bien, y como siempre digo, arriba la América.
Gracias a todos.